But there's an interim step that often gets lost in this. And, the Bible references this process where you have these 10 kind of kings who collaborate and then hand their power over to the central system. And one of the things that's so interesting about what's happening right now is, we see something very, very similar coming into existence as we speak. Now, the European Union, people are familiar with. It's very well known. It's now far more powerful even than the U.S. federal government. But people don't realize that similar regional governments are being built all over the world, even right here in North America. The Africans are having an African Union imposed on them. The Latin Americans are having multiple regional governments imposed on them. Vladimir Putin is building up a Eurasian Union. In Revelation 17, verse 12, it says that, but they are to receive authority as kings for 1 hour together with the beast. And I can't say definitively that that's what we're watching, but there are some very, very interesting parallels between what is happening as we speak outside of the news, outside of the limelight, and what the Bible tells us we are eventually going to see.
So how long has this been going on, and what are some things that maybe the viewers need to know to be aware of this? Because this is the first time I've been hearing of it.
Yeah, so this is a process that's been going on very quietly and very deceptively for many generations. And that's one of the things, the devil is such a liar. He is such a deceiver. The evildoers like to do their deeds in darkness and the shadows. And so they've been doing this whole smashing of national sovereignty, the undermining of nationhood, and the creation of these regional governments since at least the birth of the European coal and steel community in the immediate aftermath of World War II. That was the nucleus that eventually gave birth to the European Union. It went from coal and steel community to European free trade area to European economic community to European community to now, full-blown European Union, where this dictatorial, autocratic, Soviet-style regime in Brussels now has the authority even to override the national budgets approved by national parliaments elected by people. So this is incredible. And again, that's been, a 70-year process. But if you go back in time, even 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, some of these guys were talking about this stuff openly. And so I'll be talking a lot about this at the event. I'm really looking forward to seeing people there. I hope people can come in person. I know it's sold out, but if not, the live stream will be good. But back in the early 1960s, the U.S. State Department hired a guy, total deep state guy, Lincoln Bloomfield, came out of the intelligence community, was a member of the Council on Foreign Relations, and he was tasked with figuring out the fastest way to get to a one world system. The report that they put out, now they've tried to kind of like disappear it, but you can still find it, was called A World Effectively Controlled by the United Nations. And, he says the most important catalyst to bring about this global system where we move away from the Westphalian, 1600s order of sovereign nation states to the one world system was war and the threat of war. So that's a big part of it. But he also proposed, and I want to quote directly from his report here, he said that ever larger units could evolve through customs unions, confederation, regionalism, etc., until ultimately the larger units coalesce under a global umbrella. I mean, it's spelled out in perfectly clear fashion that these regional governments are a means to an end, right? And I would encourage people to just think about this. What are the odds, do you suppose, that all over the world, people in the Philippines and Thailand and Brazil and Argentina and Germany and Poland and South Africa and Zimbabwe and Canada all woke up and said, hey, you know what? I don't think we really need a nation anymore. Why don't we just surrender our sovereignty to a regional government and create a regional parliament and a regional military and a regional currency like the euro? The odds are effectively zero, right? So this is a coordinated process. It is happening as we speak. It's actually accelerating almost counterintuitively because, people see Donald Trump as an opponent of globalism, and I do believe that he is. But what he's been doing has had as a byproduct the acceleration of this regional integration around the world. So this is hugely significant. It's been talked about very, very rarely in our circles, kind of, prophecy circles, biblical circles. And so I think it's really important that folks understand this. It's been going on for 60 or 70 years, and we've got to be focused on what's happening here.